channel, and tonight I really wanted to actually do a movie review of the film Bewitched. I was watching it today and I just thought, you know what, why not do like a little sort of movie review for my channel. So I hope that you will enjoy this, and I do as always have my notes in front of me because memory of a goldfish, so I don't forget anything. So what a comedy this is. It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, of course, you know, we have the one and only hilarious Will Ferrell in it, and Nicole Kidman as lead character as well, and I absolutely love Nicole Kidman. Gosh, she's in some really good movies. Have any of you actually seen the movie called The Others? Oh my goodness, if you haven't seen it, definitely a Halloween recommendation, honestly. She's brilliant in it, and of course she's great in Aquaman as well. But anyways, this is just a magical, hilarious comedy, which, you know, is really a touching, you know, heartfelt movie as well. It's just a really good watch, and I always watch it, you know, in the month of October every year. And basically, Isabel is a witch, played by Nicole Kidman, and she wants to be normal. She doesn't want to be a witch anymore. She doesn't want to have life where, you know, she can just snap her fingers and, you know, do whatever she wants with her magic, you know, basically is what she wanted. And, you know, she even said that to her father, played by the awesome Michael Caine, who I absolutely love. And, you know, she was sort of saying to him, you know, I don't want to have it where I just snap my fingers to get what I want, pretty much. You know, I want to be normal, and I want to be loved. I want to fall in love. You know, she wanted to meet a really nice guy and fall in love and pretty much be like a normal day-to-day person. But no matter how many times she says it, she keeps on saying, oh, this is the last time, this is the last time. So it's just sort of funny getting to see her in the film, you know, trying to be, you know, normal, and she keeps saying she wants to be normal, but then she keeps on using, you know, her magic to get what she wants, basically. But what I love about this movie is that it had such a fantastic cast, and it's very difficult to get such a brilliant cast for an overall, you know, good movie. So I love when there's a comedy that I really like and the cast is just, you know, top notch. So, you know, of course we had Nicole Kidman as Isabel, aka Samantha. We had Michael Caine, as I was saying, as her father, and he is fantastic in this film. And Shirley MacLaine as Endora, and may I just add, I think she absolutely stood at that part to perfection, and she's actually in a movie with Jennifer Aniston called Rumour Has It, with Bruce Willis as well, and I really like that movie, and she's great in it as well. And I think she's a great actress, and honestly I couldn't think of anybody else that could have played Endora better than she did. And of course, you know, Endora was actually a real witch. You know, she wasn't just, you know, obviously Nicole Kidman at the time, who played Isabel, thought that she was just, you know, like one of the cast members. But it actually turned out that she was actually a real witch, which, you know, she didn't actually get to find out until, you know, the end of the movie. And then we also have Kristen Chenoweth, and I honestly love her. She played Isabel's neighbour, and she's nuts in this. She absolutely cracks me up. She just gets on, like, you know, really, like, you know, like a complete nutter idiot in this. She's hilarious. And I love her in the movie Deck the Halls. And also she actually did the voice for Rosetta in Tinkerbell as one of Tinkerbell's friends, and I recognised her voice straight away. Her voice cracks me up, and the way she acts and gets on, you know, all bubbly and funny. I just absolutely think on screen she's just a lot of fun, and she's just like a real happy, bubbly, like, girl, do you know, if that makes sense. So I love that she's obviously in this movie. I've seen this movie many times, guys, just to let you know. Like, I watch it every single October without fail. Then, of course, we'll have Will Ferrell, and my favourite part, I just wanted to say, is when he sings to Isabel, and he sings, I want to set up residence in your promised land. That is just absolutely hilarious. And he plays a mortal in the TV show and, you know, falls in love with Isabel. And I love whenever, it was really funny because, you know, he said to her, you know, when he was auditioning her, because he was obviously looking for a witch, and then he seen her in a bookstore and he thought, oh, like, she looks perfect for the part or whatever, and then he was like stalking her and following her and everything like a little weirdo. And he was, you know, saying to her, you know, you would really, you know, suit the part. And when she went in the audition, he's like, we're remaking the show Bewitched. And then she said, oh, I was never allowed to watch Bewitched. And I thought that was really funny. And then when she went home, before her crazy neighbour, you know, Kristen Chenoweth came in, and she's so funny, and she was, you know, sort of watching the series Bewitched for the first time, and I thought that was hilarious. And what I loved was the fact that they kept playing, you know, throughout the movie, the theme song from the series Bewitched. So I really liked that, and I liked that they really kept so much in there, you know, as a kind of like a homage to the TV series. So I really, really liked that they played the theme tune quite a lot throughout, of course, obviously throughout the movie. And why did I have some of these pages upside down? I'm a silly woman, seriously. We're going to move on. So she takes the part, of course, for the TV show Bewitched, and then she finds out that her lines got cut. So of course then, you know, she's really upset at Darren and everything, played by Will Ferrell. So then when they're on set and they're like recording, you know, a piece, she ends up has like, you know, does her magic and everything, and Will Ferrell ends up talking like jibber jabber basically and talking in Spanish, and it really, really reminded me, you know, in the movie Bruce Almighty, when he didn't get Anchor and he was so annoyed, and then he had the guy speaking, you know, like all like blah, 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 or whatever. It was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, there's so many funny moments in this movie. That's what I love about it, and like the visuals were absolutely fantastic, which I will speak on in a minute. But you know, I don't know why, but one little thing that I really loved was when Andorra was on set with Will Ferrell, and she went freeze, unfreeze, and you could see like, you know, whatever drink it was he had, I don't know what it was, sort of like you know, sort of like steaming up or whatever. I don't know, I really liked that. And what I love about the movie, as I was saying about visuals, is that it wasn't, you know, stuffed with CGI. Like, they could have got it really wrong and they could have just splashed tacky, you know, visuals and CGI over the top of it, but they didn't do that. And the truth about it is when you have a really, really good storyline and a fantastic cast, which this movie had, you do not need to really rely on, you know, a crap ton of CGI. And this movie proved that, because this movie was like literally so heavily focused on just what the movie was about, on the story, and about, you know, character development. And, you know, it really didn't need it. And any effects that were used were like so subtle. Like even whenever Isabel was flying in the air to prove that she was a witch to Darren, it didn't really even show her that much being up in the air, you know. And then there was shots where you could just see the camera, and you're seeing, you know, Darren, who played by Will Ferrell, just sort of like standing looking up. So you know in your mind that, okay, he's watching her up in the sky flying, but you don't get to see it for a massively long amount of time. So therefore, you know, they didn't need to splash it with CGI. Does that make sense? You know, obviously they would have had her up on a screen or whatever, or they would have had her up on a rope or whatever, and used a green screen for a small amount of time. But what I'm saying is, there wasn't really, just effects in general, there wasn't many. There was so little, and it was very subtle as well, very subtle to the eye as well. You know, it just was a good movie in general. Effects wise, two parts that I really liked was when the Barbie in the kitchen was, you know, twitching her nose. I can't do it. I couldn't audition. I can't audition then. Will Ferrell won't hire me. And also when, you know, she was in the supermarket, Isabel was in the supermarket, and her father was, you know, on the food boxes, and he was talking to her. I thought that was awesome. And then he showed up on the can of peas, and he was a green giant. It's so funny. When I was younger, I always just said to my dad, I'm going to be as strong as the green giant. My mum told me that if I eat my peas, I'll be strong like a giant. So funny. But yeah, then Isabel and her aunt and her friends all put a hex on Darren because they're upset with the way he's like such a jerk and the way he behaves and the way he's treating her. And then she ends up rewinding the hex, and it ends up that actually she just goes and tells him, you know, the utmost honesty of what she actually feels about him and how she thinks of him. And she's like, you know what, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. And he's like, oh my gosh, no one spoke to me like that in 20 years. And it was like, you know what, good on you. So he actually appreciated her honesty. He loved that. And I want to say something that I love, my favourite scene of Will Ferrell, and probably the most funniest part next to, you know, him singing, as I was saying earlier, is when, you know, she tells him that he's a witch, and he just genuinely does not believe her. And then, you know, she gets... she shows him his broom and everything, and then Will Ferrell, you know, goes up in the air, you know, on her broom, and then he obviously knows, like, you know, she's being serious. Okay, girl, I believe you, you're a witch, kind of thing. But then he shouts, help, someone help, and then he goes, am I going to get pregnant? Because I can't get pregnant right now. And that part is hilarious because it's like, right now? What do you mean right now? Like, why would you want to get pregnant in general? Like, why? Oh my gosh. I honestly am obsessed with Will Ferrell. Has anybody seen Daddy's Home? And has anybody seen Step Brothers? Step Brothers is the funniest freaking comedy that he's in, as well as Elf. Elf and Step Brothers. Oh my my. Oh my my. And then it's so sweet at the end when she's like, oh, you know what, I didn't know where home was. And then she goes to the set of where the house is that they, film on. And he was like, well, home is with me, pretty much. And then it's so sweet, and they show you, fast forward 6 months on, and we get to see that they got, a house of their own. And, when they moved into their own house, the neighbours were looking out the window, as people do when, new neighbours move in, you're nosy as heck. And she, just created a tree, in the garden with her magic. And the girl's like, oh my gosh, I just see like a tree out in my garden. And I thought that was really funny because, he obviously accepted her, in the end for who she was. He knows she's a witch, but, he understands that she wants to also have that normal life as well, where, she can be in love and she can feel loved as well. So I just thought it was such a lovely, heartfelt movie, but at the same time, you can have such a good laugh out of it. And mainly what I loved was the fact that it was just a brilliant film and they didn't have to rely on a ton of effects, because they honestly could have very easily have got this movie wrong. And I've always said that every time I watch it, that they could have very well have went down the silly route of, making it look trashy, and we could have ended up going, oh my gosh, remember that movie Bewitched? It was just splashed with like sparkly glitter everywhere the whole way through the movie, and it looked awful, and it had CGI this and CGI that, but we didn't even have that. And I don't know, I just think it's an all-round fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I've of course spoiled it for you, but it's an old movie, so sorry. But if you have seen it, please do let me know down in the comments what you thought of it, and please let me know what you thought the funniest part was in this movie, or you can share me, share with me as many parts as you like that you found funny in this movie. I have a funny feeling I'm going to get a lot of Will Ferrell ones. But yeah, Nicole Kidman, I love her, and Will Ferrell and all the rest of the cast. They couldn't have casted it better in my eyes, Obviously, I'm probably being biased because, I liked the cast. But just can let me know, if there's anybody in it that you would have thought could have been better casted or that you weren't really fussed on, and let me know who your favourite character was in this movie. But aside from that, guys, just as a little quick reminder to join me tomorrow for Retro Fridays, as always, because tomorrow is Friday, so of course it's going to be Retro Friday. Thanks very much for all the support. Honestly, it means the world to me. But until tomorrow, which will be Retro Friday, may the force be with you always. Bye.